Hello everyone. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back. For today's video, we're going to continue the theme where we're going to be playing with OP03 decks, some of the new decks that will be coming out at the end of June. And for today's video specifically, we're going to be playing with one of the new yellow leaders, that being Charlotte Katakuri. Yellow introduces a new dynamic to the game where you can have life manipulation, and that being you can either take or add to your own life, or you can take or add to your opponent's life. And that stems from the big mom herself in the show. That was kind of her ability. So it's really cool that they were able to add that into the game itself. For those of you that don't know, Charlotte Katakuri's leader ability is that you can attach one Don to him, and then when attacking you can look at either the top of your life or the top of your opponent's life and move it to either keep it at the top or move it to the bottom, and then he gains plus 1,000. So essentially every turn you just put one Don under him and then he swings for 7, which is just really strong. Now for the deck list, we're playing with 4 of the 2-drop 3K Sanji. He has an okay ability where you can attach 2 Dawn, and then you can take the top or bottom card of your life to your hand, and then you can add 1 card from the top of your deck to your life. So it's essentially a draw 1, but most of the time you're just kind of using them as a 2K counter, unless you're playing against Zoro. Then we're running 4 of the Cracker and 4 of the Smoothies, which are 4-drop 5K powers, but they both have a trigger that says you can discard a card and play them, which is what you use them for most of the time. Then we're playing 4 of the Charlotte Pudding, which she is the searcher for the deck, or one of the searchers for the deck. You can look on play, you can look at the top 4 cards from your deck and then add a Big Mom Pirates or Sanji to your hand. Then we're playing 4 of the Pero, which is also another semi-searcher. He's not on play, but he's on KO. You can look at the top 3 to add a card. And then he has the same trigger as the Smoothie and the Cracker, and that being you can discard a card to play him. Then we're playing 4 of the Boss Monster, or the Big Mom. She is a 10-drop 12K power, which on play your opponent trashes a life, so they don't even get to add the resource to hand, and you gain a life. So she's just really strong, and if you're able to play her back-to-back, you should be winning those games most of the time. Then we're playing 4 of the 1-drop Strucin, which is just another 2K counter. Playing 4 of the Shirahoshi, which she's a pretty expensive character with no power, but her trigger is that you can play her, and on play you draw 3 cards, trash 2. Then we're playing 2 of the 8-drop Katakuri, which on play you can add a character to the bottom of the top or bottom of the owner's life, and so you can use it to recycle your Shirahoshis. You can use it to get rid of blockers. It's just a really versatile card. We're also running 2 of the 4-drop Katakuri, and that's simply because it has one of the strongest words that are in the game, and that's rush. You don't play him too often because he is situational, but when you need him, he's there. We're running 4 of the Charlotte Brule. She's the only blocker that we run. She has a trigger that you can just play her out of life, which is really good. Running 4 of the Charlotte Pudding, so you have another 2-cost character that you can play if you go second, or when playing against Zoro. And then she's also a 2K counter. We're running 2 of the 7-drop Big Mom, which she has half of the ability of the 10-drop, and that's your opponent. On play, your opponent chooses he or she either trashes their life or it gives you a life. We're playing 2 of the Vanilla Peckhams. I'm just playtesting with the deck right now, so I kind of want to see how he does. But I like that, like if you go second and you don't see a Pero, you can play him and then swing with a leader still for 7. Or if your opponent makes you go first, which most of the time in this deck you do want to go second, then you do have a turn 2 play. And then we're playing 2 of the Thunderbolt, which is just really good removal. You can trash 1 card from the top of your life to KO one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5 or less. So you can use it to get rid of blockers late game. Or it also has a trigger that on trigger it KOs one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 5 or less. So it's just a really strong trigger. And then yeah, so that's the deck. Let's get into some gameplay. And for our first match, we have a matchup against Kinemon. He did decide to go second, which is not the best for us, as he can play his Okiku on turn 1, and I don't have the best hand. I do have 2 10-drops, but I don't have anything else I can play in the meantime, so mulling this feels pretty bad, but we kind of don't really have a choice. We do get a Charlotte Pudding, so we'll play the Charlotte Pudding. And since we're going first, we'll get the 7-drop instead of our 8-drop Katakuri, so we can play her on curve. And so I feel pretty okay because now we can play a Brule. Did get a Sanji too though. Did get a Brule, so we could play the Brule here. Then I can't swing with leader. What do I want to do here? I want to keep the Sanji. Do I want to swing for big numbers? We'll just swing for 5. We'll swing for 5. We'll develop the blocker. Thankfully, he didn't have the Okiku turn 1, which is pretty good for us. He does counter out of it, and then we'll play the Brule and pass. And then next turn, I can use the leader ability and play the Smoothie. For Dawn, he could play a Yamato here. He does use the leader ability, plays the Yamato, rests the Brule, and then if he swings, that's fine. That means she acted as a blocker either way, and I'm pretty okay with that. And if he's gonna use a Yamato, I'd rather him use it on a Brule than one of my other characters. I do get a 10-drop, so that's pretty nice. Going to swing for 7, and then look at the top of my life. 2K counter. We're going to put it at the bottom. 2K counters are nice, but we probably want them more so end game. Because I want to see crackers and smoothies at this point in time. My opponent is playing it smart. He's defending his life. He's starting to run low on resources. And against yellow, if you get low too early and then they start chaining big moms and you're just kind of stuck in a pretty bad spot. I think I don't have a choice because I can save it once and then after that, then the Kinemon is just going to run through it. So, yep, nothing I can do about that. Just let it go. Swings for 5. I'm going to take this. Kind of want some more counter. And here, we're just going to swing for 5 at life. And he's getting close to where he can play Oden. So I kind of want my 7-drop on board. Drawing Shirahoshi feels so bad. Decides to give me a life. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, drawing Shirahoshi just feels so bad. That's the one thing that I'm not running a lot of cards that can cycle from my hand to my life. So might be something I'll consider for the future. Because here they're just stuck as like 1K counters. My opponent's at 8 Dawn, so he could play his Oden. Hopefully he doesn't. Swings for 7. I'm going to take that. I do have my Katakuri, so I could play Katakuri next turn. We'll take this. That way I can play him and he has Rush. And I can attack the Yamatos. But this one I will not take. We'll counter out of that one. Then he plays a Raizo and another blocker. So he has 2 blockers. Okay. We'll swing for 8 here. If I put 2, that gives me another 8K swing. That leaves me with 7 Dawn. I can do 8 again and the pudding. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Another Rush. That feels bad. Aha. So what you didn't know though. We'll place it on the bottom. That's fine. Is I do have Rush here. And it still leaves him with 2 characters on board, so he can't use his leader ability. And he gives me all of the counter. Okay, that's fine with me. Because now I can... If I can survive this coming turn, then I can just go Big Mom into Big Mom. And I do have a decent bit of... I have 2, 4, 6k counter. So that's pretty okay. In this specific case. I'm torn between like what I want to... He has 3 more attacks, but that's just an easy 2k counter here. He probably wants to do 7, 7, and then play an Oden maybe? I will say this, like this match specifically is just so interesting to me because prior to OP03, I mean, obviously yellow's a new color, so you're never going to see it. But just there's so much variation now into like what you can do. Like some of the matchups you can see, and it's just interesting being able to see, you know, Kid versus Kaido, or not Kid versus Kaido. I'm sorry, Katakuri versus Kinemon or Kid. Yeah, so it looks like he is going to play the 8-drop here, which doesn't feel the best, but kind of needs to start getting rid of his board a little bit. Okay. And now we're in a pretty okay spot because he has 3 attacks, so he can't kill me this turn. And so if he leaves the Oden up, I can use my Big Mom to kill it. And this is why him countering early so often, because green, especially Kinemon itself, they don't have a lot of counter. So he used a lot of his 2k counters early. Or at least he used 2 2k counters early. And then he used a killer early. So he might not have a lot of counter left. Okay, can't save her. She goes. Fortunately, there's nothing I can do about that. But that's okay, because our win condition now is the Big Mom. So she was essentially just kind of a blocker there. Yeah. Those just go. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Because I can clear him now. Well, okay. Technically I can't quite yet. But that's fine, because I can do this here. It forces the block. I can clear the Oden, but then he gives him a Yamato. I think that's probably the best play here. We'll do 4 Dawn. That leaves us with 6 Dawn left. I could Thunderbolt and Katakuri. Actually, that's okay. Swing for 10 here because we'll view our life. We'll keep the Pero there. He has to let it go. And here, I lose the Pero, but that's fine. So we'll KO that. And then since I have less life, we'll play here. I need a little bit of the counter. Let's look at our life. What do we have? 2k counter. We'll place it on the bottom, and then we'll just swing. That way, if he wants to clear it, that's fine. It acts as a little bit of a blocker. And so to clear the Big Mom, he has to invest his entire turn. He has to swing 10. He has to put all 10 under leader. And I should be good to close this game out. He only has 3 cards in hand. We got rid of one of the Odins at least, so that's probably the scariest part. But with him seeing 3 cards in hand, I doubt he'll attack my Big Mom. No, so I was saying earlier, there's so many new combinations. Like, I'm really excited to try out Lucci. Ace looks super interesting to be able to play. Nami's new win condition is a new win condition in the game. But now just kind of let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what deck you guys are most interested to play. 7. Okay, so another Oden here. We'll counter out of this one. Yeah, let me know what deck you guys are most interested in playing, because I mean, there's just so many new combinations. He does save the Okiku. That gives him 4 swings next turn. I have to attack here. I have to attack here, and then I can play my 10 drop. And then now here he can't win. I mean, if he gets rid of this Big Mom, that's fine. Then I have my other Big Mom and leader that I can still swing and kind of go for game. But if I swung at the Okiku with my Big Mom, or sorry, if I left the Okiku up and I swung at life, then he would have 4 swings. And since I only have 2 cards in hand, if he did his math just right, and with Oden being able to double swing, I mean, that he could have essentially won the game there. I do know that I have a 2k counter at the bottom of life, but still. And even swinging with the Oden, he still has to invest 6 Dawn into it. We'll take. We'll see what he wants to do here. Yeah. He can swing 15 and 15. So I think I just let her go. No, because then if okay, so this is game then, actually. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna save her, and that way he has to attack her again. And then next, so he doesn't develop a character, and so I'll just go 12 and 15. So 12 at face, and then we just go 15, and that's a GG to my opponent. All right, and for our second matchup, we actually have a matchup against Ace. Same thing in this one. We want to go. I mean, yellow just wants to go second in general. I do have a pudding, and I have a brulee and a smoothie, so I'm going to keep this hand as it gives me options for multiple turns, especially having the 8 drop. They do play Izo, and I do get a 10 drop. Okay, so this is really good hand. Play my pudding. Kind of want the Peckhams. I have a brulee, but Peckham just seems better for turn 3, and then I can still use my leader ability. Oh, a second Big Mom. No, we won't be too greedy. We won't be too greedy. We'll play. I already have an 8 drop and I have a 10 drop, so we'll just go ahead and play or keep the Peckhams for next turn. My opponent plays the Whitebeard. Event gets an ace, or gets a Marco, sorry, and then swings for 7. We'll take, and then wow, that was chef's kiss. Okay, we're gonna get rid of the Shirahoshi. Getting a smoothie and a cracker out of life just feels so good, because you're just able to exert so much pressure. And then here we'll look at our life, and then there's a cracker. Okay, this seems like a really like it should be a smooth game. Yellow's just, I'm not gonna lie, yellow is really strong. I personally want to play Lucci. I just like the playstyle of it. Like, it just, with all the new CP9 cards, it just kind of adds some consistency. You get some searchers to black, and then the control aspect of removing the board. But yellow just seems very, very strong. He uses a jet pistol to get rid of the Peckhams, which that's fine, and then swings for 6, probably at the smoothie. I don't have a 2K counter, but I do want to save, so we are going to save her. And then he passes 6 Dawn. What do I want to do here? I mean, I can play the Brulee 7 and then 7 again. Okay. The fact that you can swing for 7 with your leader every single turn for just 1 Dawn, it's pretty crazy. That's fine. I mean, it's getting to where it's a little too late to play it anyway. And we'll play a Brulee and pass. Actually, okay, so this was a misplay on my part because I gave him the Marco and then I played the Brulee anyway. So maybe I should have. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. He uses Crossfire to minus 4,000 my smoothie and then uses the Marco there. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, I can get rid of the Sanji or counter out of the Sanji. That's fine. I prefer the character on board. So we're going to get rid of the Sanji to play him. And then next turn we can play the 8 drop and put... I mean, honestly, I could probably put the Brulee back on top of life. Or I could put the Marco. That way it puts him back a turn. He has less attackers. Kind of want to get some cards out of his hand first, though. Because he could play an ace next turn. And then an ace with the Marco seems a little strong. So we'll add it to the bottom. And him having 1 or 2 life doesn't matter too much. Because next turn I'm going to play the Big Mom anyway. And so I'll gain a life and he'll lose a life. Flame Emperor. Okay. I need to remember that that's a thing. That gives it double attack plus 3,000. I think this matchup specifically is the reason. I could block. He should have attacked my life. I think I block here. I mean, I would have blocked either way, but I think with double attack, him attacking my life is probably more correct. Swing for 5. Counters. Okay. If he had taken that one, then I wouldn't have swung with leader just yet. But I am going to swing with leader now. He uses a guard point. Okay, we take that. Then I play the Big Mom. And my opponent just disconnects. You see, once I go to 4 and him to 1, and then I play the Big Mom, there's just really not much he can do. So that's a GG to my opponent. All right, and for the third and final matchup, we actually have a yellow mirror, a Katakuri mirror, and I do get to choose, which I think is an advantage for me. Because I'm definitely gonna choose to go second. I'm thinking about what I have, so I can play. I do have the Big Mom. I do have a turn to play. We're gonna mulligan. We're just gonna see. Keeping the other hand was probably better, but that's fine. I get to play the pudding, and then I'll play the Peckhams, and then use. Okay, and that just instantly made my hand better. So here. 1, 3, Then I can play this on 5. Yeah, that's fine. We'll get the Sanji. We'll get some counter into hand and then pass. And then, I mean, I do have the Thunderbolts in case, but we'll take. Because if you can trigger, I mean, if you can trigger a Cracker Smoothie after that, that just feels quite nice. And then I'm actually going to look at my opponents, because I'm going to place that on the bottom. I don't want them to get the 8 costs. And but the worrisome part is if there was a Cracker or a Smoothie under that, then that kind of gets a little bit scary. But it's actually my first game playing against the mirror, so kind of not entirely sure how to play it out. I think we'll counter out of this one for 5. What can he play for 5? We take this one. Get another 2k counter. Okay, he can play a Pudding and then a 4-drop. Gets a Daifuku. Probably plays a Daifuku. Yeah, okay. I think I 1, 4, yeah. That's fine. We'll keep that there. Lets it go and then searches. And then we'll swing 4, 6. Gives me a 2k counter, and then we'll play. Do I want to attack? Interesting. Why not? Why not? We'll attack. There's an argument to be made that I could have just not attacked. But just adding that extra little bit of pressure seems pretty okay. If he wants to clear my board, that's fine. But he's going to have to 7. Could play the Big Mom. He's gonna have to do better than that. I don't want to lose too much counter though. That's fine. We'll let that one go. We'll give him a life here. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of plays. I have a lot of counter in hand, but not a lot that I can do. Might play the Sanji. No, but the Thunderbolt just doesn't seem the best here. Sanji still leaves me with 6. 3, 1, 2, a 6. I think that's kind of the play here. Start attacking for low numbers first. See if he'll give me some cards out of hand. She does. Another 2k counter at the top of his life. That's fine. She did what she needed to do. She got a counter out, or a card out of my opponent's hand. I'm just not seeing a lot of we'll let that go. I'm not seeing a lot of my high end. We'll let that go as well, and perfect. That's what I needed to see. Okay, that is a thing. We'll attack here. That way, if he decides to attack the Sanji, that's fine. Then, I mean, he has to do either lead or swing at it, and so it kind of acts as a blocker in a way. And play the 10 drop and pass. Yeah. That's fine. Now, if he has his own 10 drop, I'm pretty behind in this game right now. Okay, he doesn't have the 10 drop at least, so that's good. So that kind of helps. He does have a blocker though. Oh, but that is just chef's kiss there. Does have the Kaku sovereignty, which that's fine. Getting the second 10 drop is just massive. Because to clear my first one, he's going to have to expend a good bit of Dawn. I mean, I do have a lot of counter in hand. I have 7k worth of counter in hand. So he kind of has to go at life at this point. I think I'm okay taking this. Yeah, I'm okay taking this because that way, I mean, it just gives me more counter in hand. Okay, that was a mistake. That was a lot of Dawn to just, for me to just one card counter out of that. Yeah, these are just easy things to counter out of. And then my opponent just gives up because he sees once you put that second big mom on the board, there's just nothing he can do there. So I got he had the early game pressure, but I was able to turn it around. And yeah, that's a GG to my opponent. All right, and for our final thoughts on the deck, the yellow just seems super strong right out of the gate. It doesn't struggle from the same things that black did when it was first released, and that was inconsistency issues. Having the Charlotte Pudding and the Pero to search just adds so much consistency to your deck. Having the big bombs like the 10 drop that just swing games just by herself, the 8 drop, the 7 drop, just it from start to finish, or from low cost to big cost. I mean, there's just a lot of really good smooth transition from turn to turn, and that's almost whether you go first or second. Like if they make you go first, you have your Charlotte Puddings with your Peros and your Peckhams, and so then you can play your Katakuri, smoothie or crackers, and then you still use leader ability. And then once you go up to 7 Dawn, you can play your 7 drop on curve. So you want to go second most of the time, but even if you're made to go first, it still doesn't feel bad at all. The fact that you can swing for 7 every single turn with just 1 Dawn is crazy. And yellow just seems really strong out of the gate. It's not invincible, as thankfully in One Piece there hasn't been a deck that is outright the best. I mean, even Whitebeard in set 2 was super strong, but as you see in regionals and tournament results and everything now, it's no longer winning events. There's just a lot of other decks. Most of the decks can compete in the meta. Maybe not most, but a lot of decks can compete in the meta, and it just kind of depends on the pilot skill. But no, overall, the deck was super strong. It's a lot of fun to play, and if you want to give it a shot, give it a try, I definitely recommend it. Yeah, I mean, there's just not much to say. It's just it's definitely going to be at the top of the meta. And it's probably going to be like that for a few sets, to say the least. If you enjoyed the video today, please consider commenting, and subscribing to the channel, as they really do help out. I appreciate all the support lately. If you have any comments about anything you'd like me to do differently, things you'd like me to add, change, I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of music into the video. If you want me to do more like in-person testing, if you want me to do less games, more games, just any and all feedback is welcome. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Thank you guys.